Putazos y Pendejadas Podcast.
Welcome to all our subscribers. It's PYP Boxing here. I'm David De Leon, and joining us today is the pride of Northern Ireland, 20-0 with 9 KOs, Connor the Kid Coyle. Connor, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good, David. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. A rainy day here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I see you've got some nice sunny skies in the background over there.
Yeah, it's pretty hot over here, humid. Sorry, that plane just above me.
Yeah.
Hear me
Where
okay
are
now?
you right? Are you in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
This is 5 days of fly back to the UK, so just finishing up things here now.
All right. Yeah, because there aren't palm trees in Ireland, right?
No.
Not many. All right.
Definitely not.
Speaking of that, Connor, I understand you're based out of Derry, Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
But when you're in camp for a fight, you like to relocate to Florida and train out of there. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you prefer to train in Florida here in the States?
Well, it was a buddy of mine back home, John Coyle, who actually brought me over here. He married a girl in New York who was from St. Petersburg here in Florida. And he moved down about 9 years ago, and he went down to the gym to get fit and lose weight. And he ended up running into my coach, and he told him about me because I was amateur at the time. I failed to make the Olympic team, so I decided it was time to turn professional. So long story short, he got talking. He says, "Bring me over, and he'll have a look at me." And that's where it kicked off ever since I came over. First day, he liked what he seen, and it's been like this now for the last 8 years.
Now you're a legacy fighter, Connor. I understand you come from a line of fighters. Your great grandfather was a well-known fighter from Ireland, Spider Kelly, right?
Yeah, Spider Kelly's father and son.
Can you tell us, did that have any influence on you getting into boxing, or how did that start out for you?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, it runs in my family, but that's not why I went to the boxing club to begin with. I just happened to be passing one time. I heard the music with a bunch of friends, and we were riding our bikes. I think I was only 11, not even 12 yet. And we just went in to see what all the commotion was and see what the music was blasting. It was so loud. And we went in, and the coach, my amateur coach, Gahar Duffy, he asked if we want to come in and train, and we said yeah, and that was me in that gym ever since. But my friends never came back. I just stayed there, and that was 22 years ago.
All right.
And I'm still at that gym to this day. When I get back, I still train with my amateur coach, Gahar Duffy, every time I'm back home from Florida. Still have the same team.
And you fought at middleweight for your whole 8-year career, is that correct?
Yeah, 160, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel making the weight now? And you're in your mid-30s now, right? About 34?
Yep, 34. Just turned there in May. I make it so much easier than I did when I was amateur, and I was weighing 165 when I was amateur. But I'm actually much bigger now, so it's crazy how it works out.
Yeah, that's really weird, man. Usually it gets harder to make the weight when you get older.
I'm making it easier, and plus I'm bigger. I'm
Yeah,
filled
yeah.
more muscle on me than I did when I was 10 years ago.
You said you're still comfortable making 160, so you're at the top of the WBA rankings right now. There is no number one ranked contender, last I checked. So you're sitting at number 2. Have you heard any news about like when the title shot is going to be available to you?
No, we haven't heard anything, but I know my team has been sending out some emails and making some calls, to try and make it happen. And my next fight, everything, pray to God everything goes well, and then I'll maybe give Lara another little shout out to see if he wants to do some dancing before the end of this year. I would love to fight for the WBA world title before the end of 24.
Yeah, a lot of showing some power at this stage of his career at 160. How do you think that fight would go between you and Lara?
I think it would be a great explosive fight. I think I would be a much naturally bigger, and I'm obviously have the youth, but the other opponents had the youth as well. But I don't know. I obviously fancy myself in the fight. I fancy myself against any middleweight in the world, or I wouldn't be here. I feel like I'm the best, so I want to fight the best and prove it. and that's my goal. You know, I want to fight the best. If you want to be the best, I have to fight the best, and I'm ready for any of them.
And I've seen your style, looked at some of your footage of your fights, and you do a little bit of everything. You're mainly a stick and move fighter. You use some lateral movement, work behind the jab, and you set up that big right hand that you have. But you can stand and trade with fighters as well, and you're pretty good at moving your head, evading punches on the inside. What would you say is the style that you're most comfortable with, and where did it come from?
Probably from my amateur career. You know, the many amateur fights I've had, I would have been classed as a counter puncher. You know, but I feel like I changed since I became professional. Obviously, you have to change when you turn over to the pros. You know, sit down a little bit more now, but I can still do the movement. And as you say, you know, I do feel like I have a little bit of everything. You know, there's not much that I can't do when I'm in there. You know, I feel like I can sit down and trade if you need to, or I can outbox if I need to outbox. And I can pick my shots, whatever I want to land. Usually, I can set it up. If I want to set up a shot, you know, I can work on it, and you know, it works for me in sparring, it works for me in the fights. So, and I feel this camp this year, or this camp now, has been the best that I've ever had. You know, I've had 6 solid weeks of over 120 rounds with Mateo Tapia. You know, he's another solid middleweight as well. So me and him is in the same gym training at the moment. So we've had 6 solid weeks of hard preparations. So this is the best I've been prepared. And them spars aren't just like spars; they're toe-to-toe fights. You know, so they've been hard and aggressive rounds. But it's brought me on more than ever. It's literally like 6 weeks of fighting I've had.
So it's been a pretty good training camp here. You have a next fight coming up. Is it already set?
August 3rd. It's set, but we're still waiting on the contract. We should have had it today, so it'll probably be tomorrow morning.
Okay. Where will it be taking place? And who's your opponent?
It's going to be in the UK, Barnsley, on the Zach Kelly and Callum Simpson undercard on Boxer. Okay. And the opponents to be confirmed. You know, as I was saying, they have the guy there, but they haven't sent the contract. So it should be announced tomorrow or the day after, hopefully.
Oh, the dreaded TBA, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's been hard. They've been trying to get me someone for the past 6 weeks, and we just haven't had any luck.
Now, you do have some domestic competition at 160 that are highly ranked as well. Would you be open to taking any fights with them? I'm thinking of guys like Shiraz, Chris Eubank Jr. In the States, Shane Mosley is also pretty highly ranked.
They all interest me. That's what I'm saying. The middleweight division at the moment's wide open, and yeah, I'm ready to fight any of those guys in the top 10. You know, all those names are all big names, and they're all big fights. Especially in the domestic side, there's big fights for me back home. You know, and yeah, I would be ready to fight any of them.
Right.